You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
The face of someone who his whole entire evening has been messed up by a scheduling error, which is happening more and more. So I am officially relinquishing any guest we get on, and not any guest in general. I'm not doing this whole what time we're gonna, have them on the show, because the mix up tonight, I think the mix up is by about 2 hours. I thought it was going to be a prime time podcast. It wasn't. There was a mess up. I can't work out your time zones, so I'm officially giving up now. I'm done.
This guy, listen, we're not even gonna get into it, but we got something exciting. You know what I'm saying? It's always cool when you have a guest, and it's always cooler when you have a new guest. I mean, what's cooler than cool? Ice cold.
Ice cold.
What's cooler than being cool? I was surprised you caught that one, Kadeem.
Dude, I listened to Outkast. Like, come on, let's.
Hey, just when I thought you couldn't go and do nothing or anything any dumber, you do that and totally redeem yourself. See, I bet you didn't catch that reference though.
No, I didn't know. So
that's Dumb and Dumber. That's
and the thing is, like, I knew what Dumb and Dumber. Like the amount of times you quote it, I was like, it's probably Dumb and Dumber. But if I say it's Dumb and Dumber and I get it wrong, this is the end of the show. So there's no point.
Hey, listen, man, it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. I got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Y'all know what time it is, man. Kadeem, what you got going on, bro?
I wish I could say I'm living an exciting life at the moment, but it's literally work, podcast, gym. That's all I do at the moment. Oh, I dabble a bit of, obviously Call of Duty, all that kind of stuff. But no, it's like you say, there's football season, and was it waiting for football season?
That's it. There's football season and waiting for football season. So while we wait for football season, let's bring in this new guest, King of Phinland. We appreciate you coming in and rocking with us, bro. What's up with you, man?
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. A pleasure to be here. How we doing? I'm doing good.
Cool. Bro, I gotta ask the name. How you come up with a name like that?
Man, so I started the account and I was like, I gotta think of something clever, and so I was just looking through, like, I like puns. I'm thinking of different puns, how I could use the name of Dolphins, something like that. And I just thought of, Finland. And I was like, Finland's got a king, it's like a monarchy over there. And so I was like, I'll just be the King of Phinland, but a PH. And it worked, and it went.
That's what's up. So where you located?
So I'm about 20 minutes north of Nashville, Tennessee. So right down there in Tennessee Titans country.
How'd you become a Dolphin fan?
So I became a Dolphins fan. So my dad actually grew up in Ohio, a Browns fan. And, like the Browns in the 80s were horrible. Not much changed, but they were horrible. And so he got tired of watching the Browns, and Dan Marino came in and decided to become, started watching Dan Marino, became a Dan Marino fan, and then ended up liking the Dolphins, and then he passed it on to me.
Yo, you inherited it?
Inherited it.
Bro, listen, I was in London for the first time, 2017. It's actually the day after I met Kadeem. 2017, we're at the game, and me and two of my boys, we flew across the pond, and we run into these dudes from Germany, right? They were American, but they lived in Germany. And they were just talking about how, the Dolphins always mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? It's not your daddy's Dolphins, is what they say, right? So, and he was just going through the motions. You could see he was just, man, the Dolphins, I had to come support. I'm in Germany. And then he said his dad was a Dolphin fan, and his dad was a Dolphin fan, and he's a Dolphin fan. And then when he said this part, I kind of felt the hurt when he said it. He said, and now my kids got to grow up to be Dolphin fans. You feel me? That's what when he said that, I was like, man, I feel you, but yo, it gets greater later. It's better days ahead, man, for real.
It's got to get better.
For sure. And honestly, you know, there's so many fans that were always delusional. Like, man, oh, the Dolphins are winning the Super Bowl this year. Dolphins are winning the Super Bowl this year. Dolphins are winning the Super Bowl. I'm like, bro, pump the brakes, vibe. I'm allowing it now. Now, I'm not saying we're winning the Super Bowl this year. I'm not saying we're going this year, but it's allowable now because you have so many teams that have come back and went from, I think the stat is 17 out of 19 teams in the NFL. 17 years out of the past 19 years. That's the stat. 17, the past 20 years, basically, 17 teams have went from worst in the division to first in the division. So there's always been a team in the past 19 years that went from worst to first. And if you just keep taking a better look at it, you know, the Eagles went from worst to the Super Bowl, and they won the Super Bowl. Then if you look at the Bengals last year, they went from worst to losing the Super Bowl. And if you just read between the lines, you see San Fran in there. San Fran was able to pick second overall, and they've been to 2 Super Bowls ever since. They picked second overall. So I'm not saying no, Dolphins ain't in it, but bro, if not now, when? So I feel real good about our chances. And if someone said, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl, hey, I'm here with you. But what
Why not us?
You feel me? What are your expectations so far? And what do you think? You know what? You see what we've done in the offseason. What are your expectations for us?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think they built the team the right way. This was a rare offseason in the way that, like, everything that I wanted them to do, they did. You know, and that never happens. Usually, you know, you maybe get one person you were wanting, or maybe get this higher, but like, you know, as soon as Flores was fired, I was like, Mike McDaniel, that's the dude. We went and got him. You know, got to get a top tackle. We got him. Got to get a top receiver. We got him. You know, they've made every move that I like. They really haven't made a move all offseason that I'm like, I don't really like that move. You know, so I think they've done it the exact right way. And so, you know, expectations. I really believe, and you know, I don't want to put all the pressure on him, but I think we're going to go about as far as Tua is going to take us. You know, everything. You know, the defense is a top defense, and we didn't lose anybody, and you know, gained the rookie in Channing Tindall. Like we added a little few pieces, but we didn't lose anybody on defense. That was already a top defense. Now we've got hopefully a manageable offensive line, great receivers. We got a pretty loaded running back room now. I mean, the team around Tua is pretty set. And so, you know, if he plays bad, if he goes out there and kind of just regresses a little and just doesn't play good, I think we're probably, you know, barely missing the playoffs like we always have. I think if he plays decent and goes out there and he's all right, then I think, you know, maybe we win a playoff game. That's about it. But if he goes out there and balls, and he's a top 12, top 10 quarterback, and he's playing good, I mean, I don't know why it couldn't be us. You know, I mean, it very well couldn't because football is random. But like, I think if Tua plays great, then this team is the Super Bowl contender because there's not really many holes. You know, you look through the roster and they've got talent at starting levels at almost every spot, and they've got depth at almost every spot, and that's pretty much the recipe.
What you got, Kadeem?
Yeah, I think a lot of the Dolphins season, fairly or unfairly, is going to fall on Tua. There's been more and more clips across various different, you know, football shows or social media in general, kind of showing what Tua was like pre-injury at Alabama. This whole, you know, Tua can't throw deep. Dude, the kid can throw deep. You give him 2-3 seconds in the pocket, he's going to completely destroy your defense. There's an amazing clip where I think Nick Saban kind of breaks down a play where he fakes the handoff, which is one thing. Okay, fair enough. A quarterback can do that. That's all good. He then looks left. That read isn't on. He then scans other side of the field, right, and I think it's Jerry Judy on a deep ball. And people just like, how can you tell us that this kid can't throw deep when he clearly can? And Perform obviously put out that great video a couple of weeks ago, kind of looking at how how Tua has developed and progressed after that injury, and kind of saying, we're now back to Alabama Tua, all that kind of stuff. You can just see the way he is around, the training complex, how he's feeling himself. We keep saying the same thing in terms of Tua just looks confident. Tua looks like he is ready to ball. And I, completely agree with, I guess, the first monarch of Go Time Dolphin, the King of Phinland. And, if Tua balls out, then legit, why can't we reach the Super Bowl? Obviously, people will say, well, the Bills and the Chiefs and all that kind of stuff. Listen, in that way possible, we can avoid all those teams until the AFC Championship game. If things line up correctly, there's no reason why we can't get a Titans in the playoffs. And again, in the nicest way possible, I think we could beat the Titans. If we had a better game plan back end of last season, we beat the Titans then as well. So yeah, it's like you guys have both said, normally it's Dolphins are making Super Bowl, and it's like, let's be honest, have you seen this team? Have you seen other teams? No, not at all. And the additions this team has made in the offseason, even with a first-time rookie head coach, Tua looks like, we're going to basically live or die by his left arm. And if we get the left arm of God, if we get Alabama Tua, if we get all of that kind of stuff, it's not hyperbole to say this team, the possibilities are legit endless.
Is there a question in there somewhere, Kadeem?
No, listen,
I'm just saying, bro, we got a guess, bro. Like you just went on a, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Me. Dude, you threw it to me. You was like, Kadeem, what do you think? So that's what I thought. I guess if any question comes out of it would be on obviously the additions we made in the offseason in terms of free agency. But what did you make of the additions in the draft as well? Was there anyone who really stood out to you? Obviously, be it in the draft or on the free agency additions, including Sony Michel, the latest one.
Yeah, I really liked the draft. It wasn't too flashy, but that's okay. You don't really need flashy when you're going with day, late day 2, day 3 picks. I think Channing Tindall is going to be a stud. The dude is, he's a little lighter for a mic. I'll be honest, I'm no draft analyst, but I like to do some independent draft work, study some tape on guys. And when I looked at Tyndall, I didn't really do that much work on him just because I kind of looked at the height and weight, and I was like, he's probably more of a, an outside edge rusher, stand up and rush the passer guy. So I didn't really do that much work on him. But then, when they drafted him, I was excited because I knew he's a baller. And so, I went and watched the tape, and the dude's a mic. He may only be, he's only like 230, but he doesn't play like Jerome Baker 230. Jerome Baker, he can play middle linebacker, but he probably is better on the outside. And when he's out there, you can tell that he kind of looks lighter. Tyndall does not look like that. The dude plays a lot. The dude plays a lot heavier than he looks, and I think that's a good thing. He's very, very athletic. He had I think the highest vertical at the whole combine, 42 inches, and just great at maneuvering between gaps, blowing up blockers, trying to climb to the second level, and he's athletic enough to scrape to the sidelines. I think he's going to be, a Landon, we've needed that run stopper, and a Landon Roberts can do that as long as they're running in the A gap. And if it's anything outside of the A gap, he's not touching it. And so that's really where we've gotten burnt. I think Tyndall, I don't think he's going to come in and play immediately. I think it's going to be kind of like a Javon Holland type. He's going to get a few reps and a little more, and then that back of the half of the season, he's going to be playing, majority of the snaps. But I think he could really be that player to come in and be able to be that run stuffer all between the gaps. I watch him play, and the dude he reminds me of now, not saying he's gonna have this career, but a dude he reminds me of is Patrick Willis. You know, Patrick Willis was a lighter linebacker. He was only like 240, 6'1". But he came in, he filled the gaps, and he was hitting. And Channing Tindall can hit, and so I think he's going to be exciting. The rest of the draft was solid too. You know, the receiver we got, Eric Ezukama. You know, the best way I could describe him is like if you put Jarvis Landry in Devontae Parker's body. the dude's got the Devontae Parker frame, and he can high point a little bit, but after the catch, you know, he reminds me so much of Landry. So I'm interested to see what ways they can use him. And then, you know, the late round picks were interesting. Cameron Good from California, the outside linebacker. He was super productive in college, had like over 20 sacks, like 36 tackles for loss, almost 200 tackles. So really productive college career. You know, you see if you can translate it to the pros. And then the interesting pick was that last one, the quarterback, Skylar Thompson, because that was not, I don't think, on anyone's radar. So that was an interesting one. But, you know, if you got someone that is high on your board that late, I mean, you know, at that point, you don't need to be drafting for needs. You're taking BPA. So I don't hate it.
So when we talk about Tyndall, do you think we'll use him at now? I mean, it's all open. It's up in the air. Whether we use him at middle or outside, we really don't know yet. But do you think the Dolphins will use him at inside?
I think so. I hope so, because that's really where our need was. And to be honest, that's why I really didn't look at him pre-draft, because I didn't think just weight, you know, just measurables alone. I didn't really think he was too much of a Mike, but I think he can. You know, when you turn on the tape, he plays with he plays with a knack for it. He plays real comfortable there. But you know, I don't think he's just gonna just get stuck in the middle and that's where he's gonna be every play. The Dolphins run a lot of versatile, a lot of multiple type defenses and fronts. So you know, I think he'll be a Mike, but I could see him easily lining up on the outside and rushing too, depending on just kind of the front that they use. But
so you ever been to Florida? You ever been to a Dolphin game?
I have, man. I've been to 2 Dolphins games in my life. So the first, well, in Miami. The first one was way back in like 2012, before they did any of the renovations. It was like Land Sharks Stadium, you know. It was just a bowl, man. It was just a bowl. And then they did all the renovations, made it Hard Rock Stadium, and I hadn't been until last year. I actually won a crazy good package. Shout out Gary Gates, man. He put on his Twitter like 2 weeks before the draft. He said, if you can predict who the Dolphins are taking at 6, you know, whoever comments and gets it right, I'm going to pick from that group, and you get a free 2 tickets to the game, flights, hotels, everything. And this was back when everyone was saying Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, and I was Jalen Waddle. Like I've been on the Jalen Waddle train since like his freshman year, and so I was like one of like 4 people to put Jalen Waddle on there back like weeks before the draft. Turned out to be him. I got picked, and so man, I picked the best game to go to. I got to see the Baltimore game, so that was incredible. We went down there on Thursday night.
Wait. We're gonna pump the brakes right there. This is like the best commercial break we could possibly have, because you let us into the Baltimore game, but we gotta plug this real quick. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. Charlie Touche, Kadeem Simmons, and the King of Phinland chopping it up. And this man, King of Phinland, just said he won a giveaway, basically.
That's right.
Went to a game, and the giveaway included who the Dolphins were going to draft. Turns out we had a giveaway, and our friend Sherrod Steve ending up losing the bet, and he's giving away a Jalen Waddle jersey as we speak. Kadeem, please plug the Jalen Waddle giveaway and tell everybody how they can win their jersey, please.
So to win the Jalen Waddle giveaway, and if King of Finland enters, he probably going to win it because that luck is just crazy. But to win the Jalen Waddle giveaway, send an email to gotimedolphins@gmail.com and answer these 2 questions. The first question: how many receptions did Jalen Waddle get in his rookie season? And the second question is: who did Jalen Waddle catch his first NFL touchdown against? The team he played, or the team he caught his first NFL touchdown on. So again, email at GoTimeDolphins with the answer to those 2 questions. Jalen Waddle's, how many receptions he got in his rookie season in the NFL, and who did he score his first NFL touchdown against?
So King of Phinland, please don't answer that question on air.
I was about to say.
Yeah, please.
I was about to say, I can answer it right now, but I ain't gonna do y'all like that.
Chill. So, that being said, you don't have to screenshot anything. You don't have to tell us you did anything. There's nobody you're going up against. All you have to do is answer those questions and send them to our gotimedolphins@gmail.com. Not everyone has IG. Not everyone has Twitter. Not everyone has Facebook. Everyone should have an email address. So please email us your answer, and we'll sort out the giveaway. Free Jalen Waddle jersey. It'll be transparent. You'll see how we get the names and all the other good stuff. In the meantime, if y'all could give us a 5-star review on iTunes, it is appreciated but not required. If you could share, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on social media at GoTimeDolphins, that is also appreciated, however, not required. So we do appreciate everybody who rock with us. But King of Phinland, bro, you set us up so good for that one. And you set us up for something else. So you went to the Thursday night Baltimore game.
I went, man.
The infamous game where Tua did not start.
No,
hold on. And I'm gonna set you up real good. Unlike my co-host here, when I throw the lobs, he don't catch them and throw it down. You know, he rims out. So look, I'm gonna set you up real nice. So there's a lot of news right now with Tua playing golf before the alleged Thursday night game against Baltimore. He did not start. You are a witness to. I need to hear your testimony, man. Like, tell me everything. Like, now that you know all this is coming out, tell us how that game went. Tell us your experience and tell us what you think of what's going on social media now.
Man, as soon as that news dropped, I was just like, I should have went to every golf course in Miami that morning and just found the dude. But no, listen, so the seats were fantastic. They were club level, right behind the end zone. And it was right behind the end zone the Dolphins were warming up. And I was sitting there, and I mean, listen, I could find the tweets. I tried to video it and tweet about it, but I'm sitting there watching Tua throw, and I'm like, he looked good. He's throwing good. This dude is slinging it. He does not look injured, you know? And I didn't even think he was injured going into the last game. And I remember like talking with because my now wife and my family went down there with me, and I was like telling them, they were like, "Is Tua gonna play?" I was like, "Yeah, he's gonna play. Why would he not play? He's healthy. He practiced all this stuff." And then they tell me like we're coming into the game, and you find out he's scratched, and I'm like, "What?" And so we get there watching him, man. He looks fine, going through warm-ups, fine, everything. And I was convinced that Flores had to be holding him out because he looked normal. And so, and the crowd knew it. Brissett was out there, man, just struggling, like always struggling. And the crowd was going crazy, chanting Tua, wouldn't do it. As soon as he goes down, man, I knew it. Tua comes back in. Here's the thing that I don't know if a lot of people know or saw. Brissett, his injury was not that serious. He went down and went back to the sidelines, and within like 2 or 3 plays, came back right next to Flo with the helmet ready to go. And so I thought Flo was going to put him back in and pull Tua, but the crowd was, everybody in that stadium was chanting Tua during the injury timeout with him warming up. I don't think Flo would have made it out of Miami alive if he would have put Brissett back into that game. But And you could see it, man. Brissett was mad. Like, he was on the sidelines. Like, dude was sitting there and then basically just walked off and kind of like hit his helmet. Like he wanted to go back in. He was mad. He was healthy enough to go back in. So um, I think that Tua was absolutely healthy enough to play the game because I saw it. And then he came in there and he looked normal. You know, he threw the shot down to Waddle for like 40 yards right on the sideline. And, I mean, you could just tell. But man, that was just a crazy game in itself because Brissett started, and of course, you know, I walked into the game mad as could be because I gotta watch Jacoby Brissett play football. You know, that just made me mad in itself. But like, that game in itself was crazy just because the whole Brissett and Tua thing, and that was the Xavier Howard stripped the dude, picked it up and ran it back. That was the Robert Hunt screen pass.
That was the Robert Hunt touchdown game.
Yes, and that was right there on my end zone, man. I was going crazy. Like, that was literally like best game of the year, hands down. It was crazy. So, but yeah, Tua was definitely healthy. I think he was healthy the last week.
So what do you make of the sabotage? The what it looks like to be sabotage in hindsight?
Hard to believe, you know, because like Jacoby Brissett was just playing bad football. Like, no way around it. Like just such bad football. I mean, even the game that they won the week prior to Houston, he had like 4 or 5 picks that he threw, you know, and they barely won. So if your backup kind of had the hot hand a little bit, maybe I get it because you just don't want to rush anybody back and everything like that. But like Brissett was playing horrible, and the Dolphins are 1-7, 2-7 going into that game. Like, you got to do something drastic, and the fact that you just stick with Brissett was just didn't make sense. You know, that's the thing is I don't know, you know, I don't know how deep the like personal vendetta against Tua and all that goes, but like, you know, Brian Flores, like, out of all things, like, you know, he pretty seemed like the whole time like he was all about winning. You know, like, that was kind of his thing, and to deliberately prohibit yourself from winning, giving yourself a worse chance of winning, just to do this is just beyond me. You know, I don't know how you can justify it, and like, you know, it goes just so much further. Like, the players in the locker room had to know. Like, they're with practice every day. They're talking to it. Like, they gotta know that he's healthy. So, you know, I mean, if that's my coach and I'm playing and I know our starting quarterback is healthy and he's just sitting to sit, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I don't want that. So it's kind of a miracle to think that the Dolphins did what they did last season to win, you know, roll off that 7 straight or 8 straight there it was at the end, and really come back and finish like they did, despite all of just the erroneous coaching,
all of the suspicion that we had, all of the hindsight of the rookie year. Why would you put Tua in when he wasn't ready? You didn't even tell your OC the rookie was going in. All of that, bro. And now we have an eyewitness on the show. That is crazy. What you got, Kadeem?
This is why you should be subscribed to Go Time Dolphins, because I guess they're just dropping absolute nuggets like that, like just King of Phinland bombs. Like, people talk about Woj bombs, King of Phinland bombs. Like, this is just absolutely mental. And yeah, the sabotage is again, you know, we look at the Miami weekend or Miami GP, we know, weekend, and just the confidence, you know, coming out of this guy is absolutely mental. You mentioned some of the rookies, you know, like Easy E and all that kind of stuff. What did you make of I don't know, I wouldn't say the undrafted class, but I think the biggest camp battle or the most intriguing is probably going to be the running backs, especially with the addition of Sony Michel. You know, when it happened, I saw you tweet, you know, you seems like to quite like the move. What do you make of the Sony Michel addition? And if you know, right now, I don't know, guess the 5 running backs to win 2 more tickets to a Dolphins game because you're clearly going to get it right. Who would the 5 running backs be who you think make the 53-man roster? And yeah, the Sony Michel edition in general. What do you make of it?
Man, I'll go a step further, and I don't think 5 running backs make the 53-man roster.
Hey, my man, because I thought it was gonna be 4, but
I think it's gonna be 4, and I think 1 gets practice squad. I think Mostert, Edmonds, and Michel are locks. Definitely Mostert and Edmonds. I think Sony Michel is a good enough back that he deserves to make the roster. You look at the rest of the room, and I still think he's kind of a class above. And then you got just some, a lot of guys. You got Gaskin and Ahmed, the 2 Washington boys that have kind of been hanging around. And then you got Jared Dokes, the 7th round pick last year. And then the UDFA, the sleeper guy to make this room is the UDFA from last year. Or for this year, I mean, Zaquandre White from South Carolina. He can play. He can play, absolutely. So I'm going to go with those 3. I'm going Mostert, Edmonds, Michel. I'm going to throw a curveball, and I'm going to say Salvin Ahmed is the 4th running back to make the roster. I think he fits the scheme very well. He's kind of that speed, 1 cut, smaller back that has been really successful, kind of like a, not really like a Elijah Mitchell necessarily, but kind of in that Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson type of just plug and play, speed, small, 1 cut back. So I'm going to say he's the 4th guy, and then I'm going to say that Zaquandre White gets practice squad. He makes the practice squad. That's your 5.
Who you got, Kadeem? 4 make the roster, 1 makes the practice squad. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, Secondary White, and friend of the podcast, Mars Gaskin, make the roster. And I think they practice squad Jared Dokes again. And I think the reason White doesn't make the practice squad, because I can see him having a great preseason. And if they practice squad him, someone's going to take him off the practice squad and you're never going to see him again. So I think they'll go, we'll play it safe and have him on the roster. I think the reason I had 5 running backs is because of the injury history of Raheem Mostert. And I think they'll just kind of carry 5. But I guess it's a matter of, you speak a lot about what the wide receivers can do. So if you've got 4 running backs, but you also know that Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Lynn Bowden at any moment could pop up in the backfield, I guess you'll be okay. It's just interesting, how many running backs the Dolphins are going to carry, especially as this is the team which, again, earlier on you said how you might have said this off air, how you really wanted Mike McDaniel. For the moment Flores was going, you wanted Mike McDaniel. And the things he's done since coming into the building, brought a better offensive line for Tua straight away, gave Tua weapons straight away, and he's given Tua a run game. A ball hasn't been snapped yet, and already on paper, the run game, the passing game, and the offensive line looks a lot better. So, yeah, those would be my 4 guys and my practice squad guys. And Charlie, how about you?
I didn't think he was going to throw it back to me. I thought he was going to be a small forward or a power forward or a center. You know what I'm saying? And neglect the point guard. This is why, we try to do the give and go thing. I didn't think he was going to give it back to me. So I appreciate you, Kadeem. That's vision right there. I like it. That's awareness. If this was Madden, you'll get like an 80-something in awareness. Shout out to my co-host. This is my dog. So here's my thing. Follow the money. And here's why I say that. We have a Miami Dolphins team that we haven't had in a long time. People are getting paid now. For a long time, we couldn't say, well, who are we paying? We're not paying anybody. We're not paying anybody. We're not paying anybody. And now that we've gotten to the point where we're paying people, you got to look at who we're paying and why we're paying them. Let's just look at the facts. Flores said 40 acres and a Hellcat, Myles Gaskin was the epitome of a Miami Dolphin. If you remember correctly, Myles Gaskin was a 6th round pick. We'll start near the top now. Raheem Mostert, he gets 2.5 maybe for this year. 1 year contract. So this is it for him. This is 1 year. Everyone knows he's injury prone. You gotta believe they don't want to eat that $2 million. You gotta believe that they're not gonna want to eat that. So he makes the roster. You have Chase Edmonds. I think he makes like $6 million per year.
It's six or 7, something like that.
Yeah, it's in the 6 range per year, but only the first year is guaranteed. So that tells me that if he doesn't perform as well as they would like him to, yeah, you'll get your $6 million this year, but we're going to move on from you, i.e. Malcolm Brown and Jordan Howard. Then I think that's where Myles Gaskin fits in right there. And now you have Savon Ahmed, who was just tendered. And then you have Jared Dokes, practice squad running back. And now you have Zaquandre White, who is a 7th round pick. And I didn't even mention Sony Michel. So now here's where it gets tricky. Do we know the details of what the Sony Michel is going to be making yet?
Well, yeah, it was a 1 year deal. Haven't seen any numbers yet.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't think the numbers came out yet.
We have to follow the money, because if it's anything north of $2 million, he's staying. He's locked in. And I'm gonna be real with you. I think we're in a position now as an organization where it's no longer, we don't care. Like, we want to win. We want winners. We want people who's going to compete. I don't care what we paid you. I don't care what you've done for the organization. Because realistically, if you ask me, they paid Xavier Howard because they said they were going to pay him. You know what I'm saying? They paid Tyreek Hill. We need help. They brought in Teron Armstead. We're paying him. They brought in Connor Williams. They're paying him. Now we're paying people. They paid Cedric Wilson. He's not a Dolphin. But they also tagged Mike Gesicki. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. If you paid Xavier Howard and you tag Mike Gesicki, I'm thinking there's like a loyalty factor here. Like, we want to reward our Dolphins. We want to treat everyone right. Like, hey, if you ball, you perform, this is what happens. We're not going to move on from you. Here's the thing about friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin. It's a little tricky because he's due $2.5 million this year, but he's not a starter. He's not even second string right now, but he's still due that 2.5. Where's your loyalty, Miami Dolphins? Do you really rock with him? He's almost like a captain. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time you see him, when you go to the games, he's the one, clapping it up, and everybody's coming out, and he's already on the field type stuff. So he's respected in the locker room, but what's he look like on the depth chart? Because now it gets to a point where you would love, as a fan, to see Myles Gaskin get his $2.5 million, being a 6th round pick, probably got less than $800,000 each year since he's been in the league. So for him to get this $2.5 million, it's almost like I told you we rock with you. Thank you for being the epitome of Miami Dolphin. Here goes the 2.5. But after this year, all bets are off. I don't know what that looks like in the locker room or in the front office, right? So we're gonna see a lot. You're gonna be able, and don't forget, Mike McDaniel fell out of his chair when his running back didn't fall to him in the 3rd round. So it seemed as if running back was gonna be the pick in the 3rd round. So it's a coin flip. But since y'all answered the question, I'll answer it too. I'm gonna go with Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Myles Gaskin, Sony Michel. I don't think Jared Dokes makes it because Jared Dokes wasn't a Mike McDaniel pick. It doesn't mean Mike McDaniel doesn't like him. It's like, well, I didn't pick him. I have no loyalty to him. We have 2 practice squad running backs. And it's who really makes it out of White and Dokes, who is going to be retained on the practice squad. I think someone else would pick up Savon Ahmed, so he wouldn't be able to come back on the practice squad. So that's what I think the running back room looks like. I hate it and like it at the same time because you begin to get attached to some of your favorite players, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we need W's, not attachments. So yeah, man, it's a lot, man. Before we go though, bro, tell everybody.
Before we get to that, and to be fair, it will play into what you're about to ask him. I just saw this, and I think it's only right we give our guest his flowers while he's on the show. So here's a little. This is exactly where you can find him, but here he is breaking down a Sony Michel play with the Rams from, I believe it's last year, King of Phinland. Is this last year?
That's right, last year. So yeah, man. One of the most exciting things about Sony Michel is the pass pro, man. Watch him line up in the A gap right there and just pancake a linebacker. They literally put him up right there in the A gap between the guard and the center, and he takes that linebacker and just drives him straight into the ground. And there's another clip that I think has been floating all over Dolphins Twitter of him flying in from the side and flipping a dude in pass pro. I think that's one of his biggest strengths is pass pro, and that's something the Dolphins have desperately needed from the running back room. And I think if nothing else, that's a way to kind of carve his role in, is maybe that kind of that third down pass pro back. The other interesting thing about Sony Michel is, listen, I don't know how much he played into the wins, but the dude's got good luck. He's been in the league for 4 years and he's won 2 rings. He won with the Patriots in 2019 and the Rams this past year. So, I mean, 4 years in the league and you already got 2 rings. The good luck follows.
Florida native, by the way. He's from Florida. Yeah, man. We're about to get into bonus time. Tell everybody where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, man. So you can follow me on Twitter at King of Phinland with a PH. And yeah, love talking on there with y'all. And I want to thank y'all for having me on today. It was a ton of fun.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on, man. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative for the King of Phinland, Kadeem Simmons. I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
The Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
So, before we headed into bonus time, King of Phinland mentioned this epic pass pro play from Sony Michel, and yeah, this even sound as well. Listen, obviously we know Mike McDaniel loves his pulling, guards and tackles and stuff like that. That's just
tough, man. Dude, that's the thing, man. Pass pro is effort. That's what it comes down to. And that's effort right there. That's all blocking is putting yourself out there and not being afraid to take hits and get hit and just effort. And the dude's a dog, Georgia Bulldog. Dude's a dog.
He is a dog. Share the backfield with Nick Chubb.
That's right. I think he's got a lot left in the tank. He's a solid back. Everywhere he's gone, he hasn't been bad.
I'm not. I mean, I can't lean one way or the other on him. I'm not like, oh, we got Sony Michel, and I'm not like, oh, we got Sony Michel. I'm like in the middle. Like, all right, let's see what we get.
I think he's a really good third running back. That he's a very, if he was going to be the bell cow or even like the change of pace guy, I'm a little less, maybe less excited. But I mean, the dude ran for almost 900 yards last year. Yeah, 845.
Cam Akers went down. Cam Akers had went down. Bro, I really, really, really want to see what Jared Dose looks like. I really want to see that. Like, I feel like there's something there with Jared Dokes. And I guess maybe there isn't, because if you're bringing in Sony Michel, maybe you don't like what you see in Jared Dokes if you're Mike McDaniel.
I liked what Dokes brought, man, but I'm just thinking he must just not be showing up in camp. I don't think because the fact that they are. I mean, Zaquandre White. I know he's a UDFA, but like that's kind of a high ticket UDFA, and you're bringing in you brought in 3 running backs in the offseason. Plus you take a UDFA and you were begging for whichever running back. I think it was Rachaad White from Arizona State, but you're begging for your running back to fall to you. Like obviously he's whatever we thought he had, he's not showing.
I think the running back was Ty Davis Price, but why do you think it was Rachaad White?
Because I think he just fits the system real well. I think he's a McDaniel player. I think and he was he was right there at like 91 and we were 102. A lot of people said it was Spiller because he went right there, but I don't think they were in on Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M like a lot of people did, just because he's kind of opposite of the offense that they try to run. He's a big back, and the Mike McDaniel system is full of like 5'9", 5'10" dudes who can fly. And I think Rachaad White was that type of guy, and he was kind of right there at around that range. That's who I think it was.
So we got Ricky Watson thought it was Brian Robinson. I think it's Ty Davis Price, and now you think it's Rachaad White. So the world will never know.
The world will never know until we get Mike McDaniel on Go Time.
Hey, my man. Hey, shout out to the plug. You heard him, Mike McDrip. Come on, coach. We need you on the podcast. Chop it up for a little bit, man. Get the laughs going. I like it, bro. I like King of Phinland too. Like, that's my dog. Hey, I like you, bro.
I told you, like, he's someone who, again, I was saying off air, speak to him so often. Not so much myself, but other, Dolphin fans on Twitter. Speak to him, so like he's always available, always happy to chat. Great insight, as you've heard so far. And yeah, you just speak to someone so much. It's a matter of, if anything, it's been way too long since I say way too long. It's been long overdue having him on the podcast. I think I asked you this earlier. Have you done podcasts before? Because like I said, I've never seen your face before. So is this like the official face reveal of King of Phinland, or does someone get that first?
This is not the official face reveal. I did go on one show, but that was actually like like a Zoom type, like where you show your face. But it didn't really. It was kind of a smaller show. It didn't really get a lot of traction. And so and it wasn't like a Dolphins podcast or a Dolphins show. It was a guy that kind of reached out to me, and he's more of an NFL fan. He's actually a Cowboys fan. Great dude, great show. It's called Booze and Ball. But it didn't really catch on Dolphins Twitter just because it's not a Dolphins show. So this is the first appearance on a Dolphins podcast that I have done.
So there you go. Like, you're watching it. This is King of Phinland. I'm going to tell you as a face reveal, whether people like it or not. That's what I'm going to do. And yeah, it's genuinely great to finally put a face to the Twitter profile who I've been speaking to for ages. And yeah, just constantly bringing positivity and good vibes to a platform which can be horrible most days of the week, like, to put it simply. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Listen, I love the Dolphins Twitter community. They get a little rowdy, they get a little crazy sometimes, but I wouldn't have them any other way.